The second major of the year has arrived with all-star groupings and noteworthy storylines that will keep you glued to the action all week long.
Welcome to PGA Tour Today, presented by MasterCard.
The U.S. Open is arguably the most interesting major of the year. It's unique in that the top players in the world compete for the famed trophy alongside the Cinderella stories that make you want to root for the underdog, like University of Oregon golf coach Casey Martin, who in 1998 became the first player to use a golf cart during competition due to a disability in his right leg. And he has once again qualified 14 years later. Or you can follow the teaching pro Dennis Miller, who in his 12th attempt finally qualified for the U.S. Open after his birdie putt on the fourth playoff hole sat on the edge for what felt like an eternity, only to fall in a few seconds later. But let's be fair, the biggest following on Thursday and Friday will be the grouping that combined has 19 major championship victories. It will be Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson paired up together for the 31st and 32nd times in their careers in the first two rounds, alongside Masters champion Bubba Watson.
First of all, I get excited to play with Tiger. I love it. I think we all do. He gets the best out of me. I think that when it's time to tee off on Thursday, I'll be ready to play. And one of the issues I've had this year is I've been a little mentally lethargic on Thursday and Friday. I won't be there this week.
Woods is looking for his fourth U.S. Open title and 15th major championship victory, and it would also be his third win of the PGA Tour season. Phil will be searching for his first U.S. Open trophy, looking to knock down the door after finishing as the runner-up at this event 5 times. They tee off at 10:33 a.m. Eastern. Now, before play began, Bubba Watson played mentor to another great story to keep an eye on this week, as 14-year-old Andy Zhang will be making his first major championship debut this week as the youngest player to ever qualify for the U.S. Open. After Paul Casey withdrew due to injury, Zhang got the call that he would be making history this week. The young Florida resident played a practice round with Watson before round 1 at Olympic. And then there's world number 2, Rory McIlroy, who will look to be the first to successfully defend his title since Curtis Strange did it in 1988 and 1989. McIlroy has had a difficult month, missing 3 consecutive cuts for the first time since 2008. In an effort to right the ship, the young star made a start at the FedEx St. Jude Classic last week, in which he ended the drought and carded a top 10 finish after a week full of ups and downs, including a 72nd hole double bogey finish. McIlroy will be teeing off with world number 1 Luke Donald and world number 3 Lee Westwood at 4:29 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. The Lake Course at Olympic, which is America's oldest athletic club, established in 1860, will be a true challenge to the entire field this week. The 7,170-yard course is made up of narrow, tree-lined fairways and small, well-bunkered greens. For more on what we can expect this week, let's throw it out to our guys from SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio.
Amanda, we got 2 big stories this week leading into the first round of this United States Open. The golf course and the big 3, Tiger, Phil, and Bubba. I got to talk about the golf course. This thing is a beast. On Tuesday, this golf course was the hardest golf course I'd ever seen, and they hadn't started yet. We got an opportunity to talk to Mike Davis with the USGA, and he kind of got it that way so he has an idea with what he can deal with and what he's working with, how much water they can put on the golf course. This golf course can play as hard and as easy as they want. With the weather forecast being pretty sunny, pretty dry, it depends upon the USGA on how hard this course is going to be. It could easily be 10 or 12 over par making the cut. It's going to be very interesting. Now I have a feeling Doug's going to be talking about the big 3. Doug?
Dennis, you're right. It's going to be so exciting following Tiger, Phil, and Bubba Watson inside the ropes Thursday and Friday for the radio coverage here at the U.S. Open. This is the 31st time that Tiger and Phil have played with each other in a professional event. They've tied 4 times and beaten each other 13 times each, so we'll see what happens here on Thursday and Friday. Our radio coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Extra and SiriusXM 85. Amanda, let's go back to you.
Thanks, guys. You can catch live round 1 action from the U.S. Open on ESPN from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern, and then NBC will pick it up from 3 to 5, and then you're back on ESPN from 5 to 10.
PGA Tour Today is presented by MasterCard, which invites you to play like a PGA Tour player at select TPC courses. MasterCard is a proud sponsor of the PGA Tour.